Imagine standing at the edge of your village. Behind you are the only things you've ever known: your home, the fields where you worked, the church where your family gathers every Sunday. Ahead of you lies a narrow dirt road disappearing into the forest. You carry a small bag, maybe a little bread, perhaps a knife for protection. Your journey might take days, maybe weeks. And there's a terrifying truth everyone around you understands: you might never return. Because in medieval Europe, traveling even a short distance could be incredibly dangerous. Roads were rough, help was rare, and the world outside your village was full of risks you couldn't predict. For merchants, pilgrims, soldiers, and messengers alike, one simple journey could change everything, or end everything. The first challenge of medieval travel began the moment you started walking. Most roads weren't really roads at all. Outside major cities, paths were often little more than dirt tracks worn into the ground by carts and animals. Rain turned them into thick mud. In dry seasons, they became dusty and uneven. Travel by wagon was slow and exhausting. Wooden wheels bounced violently over rocks and ruts. Axles broke easily. Horses struggled to pull heavy loads through deep mud. Even on horseback, journeys were difficult. A trip that might take 2 hours today could require an entire day in the Middle Ages. Only a few regions had well-maintained routes left over from the Roman Empire, whose famous stone roads had once connected large parts of Europe. But by the medieval period, many of those roads had fallen into disrepair. Travelers had to navigate whatever path existed and hope it remained passable. Even if the road itself didn't stop you, someone else might. Bandits were a real and constant danger. Travelers often carried goods, money, or food that made them attractive targets. Forests and remote valleys provided perfect hiding places for criminals waiting to ambush passing travelers. Merchants traveling alone were especially vulnerable. Stories circulated across Europe of caravans being attacked, robbed, or even killed for their cargo. In dangerous regions, travelers formed groups for protection. A merchant caravan might include several wagons, guards, and armed escorts. Pilgrims heading to sacred destinations sometimes traveled together for the same reason. But even groups were not always safe. If attackers outnumbered them, the road could quickly become deadly. Travel wasn't just dangerous because of people. It also exposed travelers to disease. Moving between towns meant encountering new environments, unfamiliar water sources, and crowded inns filled with strangers. Illness spread easily in these conditions. One of the most devastating examples was the Black Death. Merchants and travelers unknowingly carried infected fleas on clothing, animals, and goods. As they moved from city to city, the disease followed. Within a few years, it had spread across much of Europe. For travelers, sickness could strike anywhere along the road. And if you became seriously ill far from home, help might not arrive in time. There were no hospitals waiting along the highway, only uncertainty. The medieval traveler also faced the unpredictable force of nature. Storms could turn roads into rivers of mud overnight. Snowstorms blocked mountain passes. Rivers flooded without warning, destroying bridges and washing away paths. During winter, travel sometimes became nearly impossible in northern regions. Heavy snow and freezing temperatures slowed horses and made roads dangerous. Travelers caught in sudden storms had few options for shelter. A small hut, a monastery, or a roadside inn might save your life. But if none appeared before nightfall, you might have to sleep outside. Exposure to cold and rain could quickly lead to sickness, or worse. Nature did not negotiate with travelers. When travelers finally found shelter, it often came in the form of a medieval inn. At first glance, inns seemed welcoming. Warm fires burned in hearths. Food and drink were available for those who could afford them. Beds were offered for the night, but comfort was far from guaranteed. Rooms were crowded. Travelers sometimes shared beds with strangers simply because space was limited. The bedding might contain fleas or lice. Food quality varied widely. Some inns served hearty meals, while others offered little more than stale bread and watered-down ale. The noise never really stopped. Merchants discussing business, horses stomping in nearby stables, drunken guests arguing late into the night. And then there was another worry. Not every innkeeper was trustworthy. Some travelers feared theft while they slept, so even when they found shelter, sleep didn't always come easily. For those traveling alone, the psychological toll could be just as difficult as the physical dangers. Medieval Europe was a landscape of forests, mountains, and scattered villages. Long stretches of road could pass without seeing another person. Imagine walking for hours through dense woods where the only sounds are wind in the trees and the occasional call of a distant animal. No houses, no voices, just silence. If something went wrong, a broken wagon wheel, an injured horse, or a twisted ankle, you might be completely isolated. Help could be miles away. This isolation made even experienced travelers uneasy. The road felt unpredictable. Every bend in the path brought new uncertainty. Travel was also the only way to send information. Letters, news, and official messages moved at the speed of human or horse travel. Kings, merchants, and churches relied on messengers to carry important documents across long distances. Sometimes these messages changed history. One famous example occurred during the Battle of Agincourt, when communication between armies and allies determined strategy and survival. But delivering messages was risky work. Messengers faced the same dangers as other travelers: bandits, storms, illness, and exhaustion. If a message carrier disappeared on the road, the information they carried might vanish with them. Entire decisions could be delayed or altered simply because a messenger never arrived. Despite all these risks, many people traveled voluntarily. One of the most common reasons was religion. Pilgrimages were incredibly popular in medieval Europe. Believers journeyed to sacred destinations to seek forgiveness, healing, or spiritual reward. One of the most famous pilgrimage routes led to Santiago de Compostela Cathedral. Travelers from across Europe walked hundreds of miles to reach it. The journey could take months. Pilgrims faced the same dangers as any traveler: rough roads, illness, and theft. Yet thousands made the trip every year. Faith gave them the courage to risk the road. With so many dangers, it might seem surprising that people traveled at all. But the medieval world depended on movement. Merchants transported goods between cities. Messengers carried information. Pilgrims followed spiritual paths. Soldiers marched to battle. And sometimes, people simply had no choice. A farmer might need to sell crops in a distant market. A craftsman might move to another town for work. Travel was risky, but staying still wasn't always possible either. Life pushed people onto the road. For many travelers, the road became a turning point. Some returned home with wealth from successful trade. Others brought back stories of distant cities and new opportunities. But many journeys ended differently. Robberies, illness, accidents, or simply disappearing somewhere along a forgotten road. Families waiting at home sometimes never learned what happened. The traveler who left one morning simply never came back. In a world without reliable maps, police, or communication systems, the road held countless mysteries. Yet, as dangerous as medieval travel was, there was one journey far more terrifying than any merchant's road. A journey no one wanted to take. A journey forced upon millions of people when a deadly disease began spreading across Europe. Villages emptied, cities fell silent. Entire families vanished in weeks, and people had no idea what was happening. Because the next nightmare in medieval life wasn't on the road, it was inside their homes. In the next episode, we'll uncover the terrifying reality of the Black Death and why many people believed the apocalypse had arrived.